LinkedIn. I'm Brad Shaw, and I'm going to tell you about my 3 decades of building successful and innovative companies with what I call using California culture as my brand base. So I'm going to get started here, and I am so happy that I'm able to do this because I'm here to help everyone. We're not here selling anything. I'm just here to help out small businesses and business people with some of the success that I've been lucky enough to have. So, welcome and thank you for taking the time to join today. And I want to tell you that today I'm going to give you a brief overview about my background, but then we're going to jump into some general business Q&A. So that's what I want you to have. I want you to bring me your questions, your general business questions. If they're specific about your company, that's fine. I'll try and answer them. And also, if you have a question about my background or my experience or the industries I've been involved in, then I'm happy to talk to you about those as well. And let me give you a little bit of background about what I've done. I call this dirt, vert, and gears. And you might wonder why I call it dirt, vert, and gears. Well, this is all part of, as I said, I've used California culture as my base of branding. And for my companies, that worked. But you have to find your own. You need one that you can use as your base of brand. And what I mean by that is I've used it to create, manage, and build innovative and successful companies in spaces that are quite diverse. California culture was that touchstone, but like I said, you need to find your own. And all this relates back to branding, brand building, marketing, management, and really being able to go out and be unafraid to take on the challenge to build your company, build your business, your brand, or create that new segment that no one else is in. Let me start with dirt. Dirt is really my background as a BMXer and a motocross racer. I raced BMX and then I became a professional BMX racer. But while I was in college, I wanted to be a magazine editor. So I studied advertising, photography, marketing, and general business studies. I was able to stay within my area of BMX and become an editor right out of school for a leading BMX magazine, which was quite great. I didn't have to start down low. I went right in. But that gave me the opportunity to learn about the business as well. And I went from pro BMXer to magazine editor right into VP of business development for the American Bicycle Association. And that is where I found my love and the cross of marketing, creative, and business. And that's where you have to find. You have to find that sweet spot for you because everyone has that own unique area. And I was so lucky that years later, after I had left the American Bicycle Association, they came back to me and asked me to assist them with integrating BMX as a sport in the Olympics. And I advised them and helped with that. And that was just a great thing to get, after all these years, go back to that. The vert. The vert's easy because vert is self-explanatory in that it was skateboarding and snowboarding. Our company was Vision Streetwear. We also owned Sim Snowboards, Vision Skateboards, and a production company called Unreal Productions. At the time, we were unbelievably growing. We went from 5 million to over 120 million in just 5 years. And that tremendous growth allowed us to do so many things in the youth market with the skateboards, with the team activities, but we produced our own events. We created our own skateboards and snowboards and manufactured them. We did cut and sew apparel that we distributed and branded and put into stores worldwide, from the majors down to the surf and skate shops. Then Unreal Productions, we would promote our company by producing events, snowboarding events, skateboarding events, BMX events, filming them, and bartering them with ESPN. These were all things that were innovative at the time, like our product placement in film, television, and with music people. This was huge, and it helped Vision grow tremendously. The gears, probably the most diverse area, because the gears is my experience with the king of hot rods and the hot rod innovator, Boyd Coddington, who I was partners with. And we took Boyd's Wheels and Hot Rods by Boyd from a $500,000 a year company when I joined him to over $40 million in sales in just 5 years. And I took the company public on NASDAQ with a successful primary offering, an IPO, and a secondary offering. Then was Bonneville Swiss Watches, my luxury watch company. Also, Bondspeed Sport Watches, Bondspeed Wheels, my Bondspeed Media company, and of course my e-bike company. That all falls under the gears. And that is a broad look at how the wide range of business success all fell under that California culture. And every success really was based under like a stepping stone. I would learn, and then I would take that learning experience, and in the next company, I would innovate in a new industry. So I wasn't afraid to jump into new industries either. But like I said, that's just a little bit about me. Every one of these seminars that I do, I'll get into each one of those segments a little bit more, let you know about what I did, how I did it, and allow you to ask questions. But I'm here to motivate, direct, and help you with your company or your business, no matter what it is. So I want to start with some Q&A. I would love to see some Q&A come up here. I did have some that were emailed in. And before we get started, though, I want to motivate you with a little story from my background. And I think you'll enjoy this story because it's about owning it. You've heard it time and time again. Someone tells you, you got to own that. You really have to go out and own that. Man, if you do not own it in the space or in what you do or how you do it, well, I had an experience like that a year ago. And I had to live up to whenever I had told someone that in the past. And let me share it with you. I was invited to a party here in Southern California, my base of operations. And unbeknownst to me, it was a black tie affair. I would have never guessed it was a black tie affair. It was in August in Southern California. It was an indoor-outdoor event, and it was a daytime event. I didn't imagine in a million years. Maybe I should have delved a little bit farther into it and looked at it. But I was very busy, had a lot going on, but I dressed very nice, but very casual. I had some slacks on. I had some white leather shoes and a white sports shirt. As I pulled up to the valet at the event, I realized that the people in front of me were very overdressed. One was in a gown, the gentleman was in a suit, and I thought, wow, they're really dressed up for this. As I got out of my car and walked into the check-in table, I realized that everyone, except for me, was in a suit, a gown, or an actual tux. I hesitated for a moment. I walked up to the check-in table, gave them my name, and they looked at me and they said, "Sir, are you here for the correct event?" And I said, "Yes." They looked down, they go, "Oh yeah, your name is on the list." They looked at me quite odd, but I moved forward. I started walking down and I saw a step and repeat where they were taking everyone who entered's photo. For a second, I had to regress. I went back. I went back to the restroom and I thought about it for a minute and I thought, maybe I should just get in my car and go home. Maybe that's what I'll do. No, I said, you know what, Brad, you've told people over the years to own it and you've always lived up to that. So that's what I did. I walked down I walked onto the step and repeat. The photographers were there, and they paused a moment. I think they were wondering if maybe I was in the wrong place. But then they took my photo. And as I looked up at the photographers, behind them was the gathering of people for this event. And I felt like everyone in the place had turned to look at me. But I said, I've got to own it. There was a bar across the room. So I walked through that room and I owned it. I owned it. And I walked across. I said hello to people, no matter the odd look. And I walked up to the bar. I ordered a cocktail and I turned and I started a conversation. As I made my way through the event, saw people I knew, I told them the story. I thought it was funny. And I apologized to my hosts and told them that I just was not aware. But I knew that it worked at the end of the evening because, number one, my event host asked to take a photo of me together with him on the step and repeat. He said, I want a memory of this. But then I was approached by two other people, and their comment was, who are you? And I said, excuse me? And they said, let's buy a drink. I want to know your story. And I said, what do you mean? They said, you are either very famous or very wealthy, because the way you walked in and owned it, you didn't care, but you did. And that's what got me. It wasn't that I didn't care. I wasn't disrespectful. It just that I owned it, and it grabbed their attention and probably other people's. So if you're ever put in that situation or something equal to it, remember, don't turn around and go back to your car. You need to own it. And that's what I did. And I will tell you something else. Months later, probably 6 months later, I was at another event in the VIP area with some A-list celebrities. And in my business, I run across a lot of, notable people in business and in entertainment. But this was a notable celebrity, an A-lister. And I was introduced to her. And she turned and she said, oh, I know Brad. We met at an event in Orange County. And she goes, you showed up in all white. And I said, that was me. So just remember, if you own it, you can pull it off. And that's what you have to do. But let's start with some Q&A. I haven't seen any questions come up. So let's get it going anyway. I had someone email me a question. And that question was from a CEO in New York City. And it was from Kaya T. And the question was, how do I motivate employees? My response was, thanks for the challenging question, because first of all, it's open, it's broad, but I do have feelings on this. Motivating employees is a complex task because every personality, every position, everyone is a different and complex individual. So motivation really is a task of the leader to do individually or as a group, because what motivates one individual will not motivate another. It may not be financial. It may not be a title. Some people, opportunity is a proven motivator. With other people, it's inclusion, bringing them into the fold, having them have a true say in the decision process. And I even had one employee that worked for me that was a good employee, but I found their motivation. And that was allowing them to use one of the workshops at one of my companies after hours for one of their own personal side projects. That person went from here to here. That motivation for them was just allowing them to have access to something that they would have never had otherwise. So find that motivator, and you're going to motivate your employees, but do it on an individual or a group basis, because that is what gets them. And applying strategies across an entire team can also work. So, Kaya, thanks for that question. And I've got another question. Taking interest in them as a person, connecting. That's right, Trisha. You're absolutely right. Taking them as a person and connecting with them, not just walking by and saying, hi, he knows my name. It's because the people that are the team leaders and who are the management, if they know those people, that shows value. And I appreciate that, Trisha. That was a good observation right there. Do we have another question? And while we're waiting for it to come in, I would like to say that I want to make an observation about Twitter. I call it Twitter X. I don't know what you're calling it, but Twitter X for me. In the news this week, we have seen that Elon Musk went and put a giant X on the side of the headquarters in San Francisco. And people were in every aspect from online to on the news. Everyone was talking about every talk show, every podcast. And people were saying, he threw it up there and now he's getting fined and the city's making him remove it. You know what I say? I think Elon Musk once again was the guy who didn't make a big mistake. He did big marketing. Because if you think of the cost associated with having everyone start calling it X, having everyone think of Twitter now as X, getting it out there, doing PR, it would cost tens of millions of dollars. But he just garnered probably $100 million in press by putting it up there. Sure, he had to take it down, but everyone talked about it. We're talking about it right here. So I think it is that ingenious way, and I've done it myself, looking around and saying, what's another way I can market? Not just PR, not just traditional marketing. You need to do it. And Elon, I don't think it was a big mistake. I think it was big marketing. So that was a big one. But do we have another question here? Or if we don't, I can share something else. We've still got about 10 minutes to go. And I will give you one of my analogies that I've been thinking about lately about how the impact of social media since the beginning of my career to today. And I'm going to use it as an analogy, another story. And rather than just say my view, I think you'll remember the story. When I was younger, I was always into cars. And yeah, I liked illegal street racing. And now that there's limits, they can't come back on me now. So, but back in those days, we would all meet up. We would talk to our friends and we would say, did you hear so-and-so are going to meet out by the airport and we're going to meet at this time. That was our social media. It was our social interaction to spread the word. And we didn't even have cell phones, so we couldn't text or anything like that. So we would meet with other people, tell them, and it was that grapevine. Now, other people didn't even know we were meeting out by the airport. They didn't know we were going out there to race. Today, these street takeovers, people who aren't even interested in cars know about street takeovers. I do a show with Elizabeth Vargas called iCrime, and that TV show has street takeovers on it so often because they're huge, they're immense. They take over entire blocks in cities. Why is that? Because of the social media that I said. And this is just an example of how social media has taken small things and just taken them 10, 100 times, because that is what social media can do for your business. And so many of you, if you haven't already started exploring AI, don't be afraid. I've already started using it and it is immensely helpful. It gives you more time to get things done, but it also can be used for just unbelievable amounts of activities. So start exploring it, because if you don't, you're going to be behind the curve. You will be behind the curve. So I want to go back, since we don't have any questions. I know you're all shy. This is the first one. And I want everyone, don't be afraid. Throw any question out about your business, about, ask me, how would I do this? Or I have a business and I'm stumbling here. I'm happy to, I do this all the time for my friends, and I want to do it for you. So don't be afraid to ask. But I'll tell you, when I took Boyd's public back in the 1995 is when I did that. I was told by Wall Street that NASDAQ was not the place to take our company. We should go find private money. And I said, no, I had to work hard. I had to work with the brokerage companies, with the attorneys, with the accountants, to make them first understand our industry, understand the automotive aftermarket. I was dealing with sometimes people that didn't know what the automotive aftermarket was, let alone what a hot rod was, or that someone would pay $4,000 to $10,000 for a set of wheels for their car. We were also dealing with a time when the economy was starting to slow. Car sales were down, and I got them to understand that accessory items and wheels made some people who were enthusiasts feel like they got a new car. So maybe they weren't going to go out and buy a new one or build a new hot rod, but they were certainly going to improve their vehicle with the wheels. So eventually, I was able to tell them through a lot of storytelling, a lot of showing them our growth and our success and our team, that we were one that stood out from the pack. And why? Because we used California culture, and because I used that to market the Boyd name. I did things that were innovative. We did an annual video that we would show at our trade show, and people would line up to come see what the new version of Boyd's Wild Wheels was. And I did things such as bringing people in, celebrities, and having them experience the hot rod world. And some of those people we built cars for, like ZZ Top and Eddie Van Halen, and Michael Anthony from Van Halen, and so many others. But that is really what building on California culture was for me. I have another right here. Which business brought you the most joy, and was that also your most lucrative? I'm going to say that I get joy out of all my companies. And what's unique about me is that I enjoy building. I love getting a company built. I love getting it to that point where you can take it public or sell it. But it's almost like building a car. If you're a car enthusiast, whether it be you're restoring a Ferrari or a hot rod or a muscle car or a truck, building it is part of the journey. When you get it done, there's that euphoria right away, but then it's done. The excitement's over. It's akin to your birthday. The cake's cut, you've eaten it, the presents are opened. Now what? Now you wait till next year. So I enjoy building companies. I enjoy coming in and helping other companies build their brand, because the journey is such a big part of it. And although I will say that my Bonneville Luxury Watch Company is one of my favorites, because it opened my eyes to that when people tell you you cannot start a Swiss watch company. And I don't mean a company where you go to some supplier, you tell them you want Model A. We actually became a Swiss watch company. We hold international patents, both utility and design. We were embraced by the Swiss watchmaking industry, which is quite small. and we showed them how to do things. One of those was because of my experience in building CNC machined wheels and products. When I went over to Switzerland and stood there on the factory floor, they were telling me, but then I said, well, you do realize you can cut like this and you can use this bit, because it was little things that I had gleaned. I'm not a machinist, but it's things that I had learned from my machinists. And that immediately made me friends with some of the best people in the watch industry. And I'm very proud to say that aside from the patents, we were the official watch of the Saudi royal family. We were also named one of the 10 best watches in the world. We had other things such as designers from other luxury watch brands always visiting it at my booth in Basel, Switzerland, to see what we'd done. And those were luxury companies such as Bulgari, Rolex, Tag Heuer. It was amazing. So many friends that I still have today, and I do love the luxury watch company. So that is one of them. But I would love to answer some questions for some people. I know it's the first one. Everybody's trying to get the feel. But I do want to also let you know, please, everyone out there, follow me on my social. I am on Instagram. I'm here on LinkedIn. I'm on Twitter X. I'm on TikTok and on Threads. And I am Brad Shaw Biz, B-I-Z. And I want you to go follow me there, because I'm always posting, and it's another area where you can reach me, ask me questions, and, go there. And I'm going to also post a link on my Bradley Fanshaw page here on LinkedIn, where you can join my mailing list so that you don't miss any of my free seminars. And I look forward to doing public speaking at events and at business seminars, conventions, and I am currently putting all that together. So if you have anything like that, please let me know, and you can reach me under my social or here. And I'm really happy I had a chance today to do this. I hope next time that I'll have many more questions to answer, because I want to use my background and my fortunate success. And I'm going to be honest with you. If I can't answer your question, I'm not going to bluff, because I feel the smartest person in the room is always the person who's not afraid to say, I don't know, but I'm going to go find out. And not to mention the fact that I've spent a lot of money making mistakes. So let me save you money by you learn from me. So remember, I'm Brad Shaw, and I appreciate you coming. I'm going to tell you again that you can find me at Brad Shaw Biz on all my social medias, which is Twitter X, Instagram, also on Threads and TikTok. So go there, follow me, and be sure to join my mailing list. And please, if you can learn from what I've got to tell you, let me know, because I love hearing from everyone. And I'll see you, because there will be another one of these, and hopefully more of you will join. And Tricia, thanks for your questions, and thank you to everyone. We'll be back next time.